If you've experienced a lot of destiny swapping, jealousy, envy, or copying, if your presence changes atmospheres and the temperament of a room as soon as you step in, and if you've always been at the forefront of trends, you just may be a queen. Hi, I'm Naomi Olatayo, and I am the Brand Priestess. I guide founders, creators, and visionaries with multi-venture visions to align their brand universe and ecosystem with the vision that God has given them, and I activate their capacity needed to govern their respective industries, cultures, and realms. If this video activates you at all, I would definitely click the link in the description to subscribe to my newsletter. It's a private transmission chamber for founders, creatives, powerful leaders, and celebrities to receive revelation-based guidance, governance codes, and strategic clarity for multi-realm visions. This is part 2 of 6 for the governance archetypal system for multi-venture founders. If you would like to access all 6 parts, it'll be in the link in the description. Part 1 will also be linked. We talked about the king, and in this episode, we'll be talking about queendom. Now, let's get into this archetype. I just want to set the precedent again. Queenship is not based on gender. None of these archetypes are based on gender. There are archetypes where men are more likely to be and women are more likely to be that archetype, but it's not because of anything other than patriarchy. That's all. Anyways, queenship is based on function, as I outlined in the first video. And again, it is most common for queens to be women, and it is rare for men to be a queen, only because of patriarchy and toxic masculinity. If we lived in a culture where a healthy integration and marriage between our masculine and feminine energies was the norm, the baseline, and the standard, it would not be rare. It wouldn't. But anyways, the queen is the feminine side of realm ownership, rulership, and kingdomship. Queens are the ones who define the look and feel of an era. They decide what beauty looks like. They decide what elegance looks like. They decide what desirability looks like, and they decide what resonance looks like. And this is why people are always copying them, their vibe, their palettes, their personality, their choices, their outfit silhouettes, their product aesthetics, their filming styles, their environments, etc., etc. I have some good examples for this too. So think of somebody like Sophia Richie Greenwich. I should have looked up how to pronounce the name, but sorry to her. She redefined what quiet luxury is. She pretty much became the face of old money and quiet luxury. Even up until now, it's been a few years since she's gotten married. It's been a few years since she had that switch in aesthetics. But she has really been the forerunner of quiet luxury. Not because she invented it, not because she was the first, but because she is a queen. She is somebody who sets standards and tones for aesthetics and lifestyle within a realm. So, queens are the ones who determine what is tasteful, what is premium, what is luxury, what is timeless or outdated. And she shapes the identity within those paradigms. Because when you bring up, let's say, quiet luxury, it's not just a kind of dress. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's who you partner with. It's what you decide to do with your time and where you go and what's popular. You know what I mean? Oh, another great example. I would say Sabrina Carpenter and Doja Cat. Those are 2 people in the music industry who have completely shifted the culture, the aesthetics, the sound of the music industry. And they were able to do that because that is who they are. And that's the point I want to make. It's like, you don't try for these things. You do with these things out of your being. And I should also say, the only reason why things in the music industry haven't changed at a foundational level with their impact and their influence is because they lack the jurisdiction and the ownership of a realm to do so, which we'll get into a little bit later. The queen answers the question, who are we becoming? Who are we embodying to become? And that always touches the realm of lifestyle and aesthetics. They're the ones who regulate the atmosphere of a realm in their respective domains. They shape and set the standards for how people live within the king's paradigms. If you didn't remember, the king sets the standards or tones, the culture on a structural level. They are the ones who set the parameters for the realm. The queen fills the realm with her aesthetics and her atmosphere. Her focus, I'll use her just because it's easier. The queen's focus is on wisdom, embodiment, and transformation. That's why I said the question is, who are we becoming? Who are we embodying to become? The queen becomes the person that people embody to become. Another example is the queen. She, no, I lied. I said queen instead of Lori Harvey. Lori Harvey, she is someone who has been so monumental in the culture of realms for such a long time. She puts definition to femininity and womanhood in her respective spheres of influence. Queens like her, Sabrina, Doja, and Sophia, they all shape how people experience, embody, and evolve within the paradigm. They become markers of aspiration. When people ask, who do you want to be like? They say them. If somebody goes to get plastic surgery, they're like, who's your inspiration? They bring their pictures. If somebody says that they, who do you want to, who's somebody you model your life after? They will pull up their TikTok or their Instagram. Another perfect example of this is Clark. Clark, I don't know if she's on YouTube, but on TikTok, the way that she has influenced the younger generation, I would say in their in their 20s and below, is incredible. She is a true queen. She has young women walking miles a day, because I remember, I don't know how long she's been doing this, but she's been walking 14 miles a day for a long time. And she also was I think she went to law. I don't know. I don't know if she ever went to law school or not, but she pursued something in law. She's built her empire while in college. She is very articulate. She's self-made. She is something that so many women, even who look like her, aspire towards. That is queendom. That is queenship. People who become the aspiration for embodiment. So what this looks like as a founder is creating the trends instead of following them. And it looks like influencing the language among different domains. Like, for example, Glossier's Emily Weiss. She didn't set the rules for skincare. She didn't set the paradigms and the principles for skincare itself. But she damn sure did produce a whole new vocabulary that we still use today. Dewy skin, no makeup, skin first beauty culture. Her brand, Glossier, has single-handedly changed not just the skincare industry, but the marketing industry. Do you see how so many people have modeled their companies after her? She is still, how many years now? Like a decade plus later, she's still the blueprint. Still. The way that she marketed herself, the way that she formulated community, she was a forerunner in our current culture of customer to brand relationships. She really was. So the main takeaway that I would like to leave you with queenship is that you perfect and elevate the culture within the paradigms of a king structure. You make it beautiful. You make it memorable. You create the markers through which we'll remember the decades later. You're the one who defines the feel of an era. You define what's beautiful. You define what is elegant. You define what's desirable, what is resonance. And I should also give the example. Whatever you feel about them, the Kardashians, that's true queenship. Are you going to tell me that the way that they had all of us, not me though, getting BBLs for 10 years, the BBL industry exploded for a decade because of them? That's queenship. Like them or love them, hate them or admire them, I don't care. That's queenship. Which is why I'm always going to say that we need people with that natural DNA to come forth and make these kinds of impacts, because we have been leaving it up to people who are extremely capitalistic exploitative, and just not responsible with the energy that they wield. But anyways, that's what it is to be a queen. If this is something that relates to you, then, or something that you've been able to identify with it within yourself and recognize like that is me, then congratulations. Every single time that you are able to self-identify with the things that I say, that is almost like your awakening and your coronation into this level of jurisdiction. So congratulations. Anyways, that was part 2 of 6 for my governance archetypal system. In this video, we covered the queen archetype, and in part 3, we'll cover the emperor archetype. The link to all the 6 videos in this series is linked down below, and part 3 will be linked down below as well. Anyways, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.